Hello, everyone. You know what?
Maybe I should open the
Today
show
has
because
been
mine went off without
today's
a
been the day. So, new intro, screwed up overlays. We're okay though. Today was a day. So much like the topic for today, my laptop
It
decided
is a bloody mess.
my
Bloody mess.
my laptop decided to kill itself or just get murdered. But that's hey, what up, Abomination AJ? I want to thank let's get everybody in the chat going here. Abomination AJ, awesome for stopping by. Of course, we got the parents, Frank and Fran, the daughter, Juliana, Greg, Double G, Diana. Awesome. Glad to see you all here. Glad to have the topic. Whiskey Banger, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing much better now, my friend. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Whole lot of whiskey.
Cheers, Tanner.
Cheers. All the cheers.
Yep.
It's been a hell of a week.
And now we have our display names up.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
It's
By
like
the
our
way,
first, podcast.
so we don't have Filipino Meatball here today. He's in Disneyland spending his money on Mickey, but we can't go much further without doing this introduction.
It's beautiful. Mwah.
Perfect.
Also, I think that we have a nice updated background to go with
A little bit of a better background.
And the husband has a shirt that shows bones. And
skeleton bones.
I have a bloody handprint homemade t-shirt because we like to be known for our fancy t-shirts and our creative backgrounds.
So yeah, we had a crisis. The computer we were using decided to die, much like the victims we're going to talk about. And we had to borrow good old Mr. CannoliSasquatch Senior's laptop. It was a lot of running around after work.
We're really cramped in here, so I don't know where to put our hands.
We're doing a true crime topic today. The most sadistic and craziest killers. Left Eye Ego, what's up, my man? Thanks for joining in. Left Eye Ego is partners with Abomination AJ.
Yep.
Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for everyone stopping by. We got a good topic. Now, Mrs. CannoliSasquatch is going to take most of the reins today because this is her topic. She did a ton of research. This is her area of expertise. We're along for the ride. So this looks weird and it's a little off.
Well,
just go with the flow. We're all drinking. I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking lime bubbly. These two are drinking the hard stuff. So if they're a little shit-faced by the end of the show, God bless them.
And I'm on an empty stomach, so if I start slurring my words, I apologize.
Yeah, and then also, I hope everybody can hear us okay. We're testing out this new part of the microphone, a little omnidirectional stuff here. So I think we're good. So I guess we could start getting into the topic of the evening.
Well, let me start by asking Whiskey Banger, are you interested in this topic? And if so, is there anybody in particular that you weirdly are fascinated with?
So true crime, I would say it's something that interests me, but it's not like one of my top topics that I dive into. There is one serial killer that fascinates me. He's a Brazilian guy. But yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries, read some books about it, but again, it's not like my top of the list. It doesn't overly fascinate me like some other things, but I do like to dive in from time to time.
I think it's a fascinating subject but it's weird when people like true crime. Like I remember a few years ago, I've always been fascinated with crime in general, and I don't know if it's like the murder mystery, the thriller aspect. I read a lot of those type of books, but a few years ago is when the podcast really hit, and I really jumped on the bandwagon, and I started with My Favorite Murder, and I started listening to them, and then Once Upon a Crime, and then there was another Crime Junkie, and I just listened to all three of them, and I just over obsessed about it and just listened to probably a good straight 2 years. I even went to see My Favorite Murder live with my cousin when they came, and they talked about, of course, Jodi Arias. Now she isn't a serial killer. They just talked about, true crime, but there was a point where it's oversaturated. You're just enough's enough. And there's only so many serial killers. I mean, that sounds terrible, but there's only so many times that you can hear about the same story over and over and over. So I got just kind of exhausted with it and moved on to like books and stuff where it wasn't necessarily true crime, but it was books thriller procedurals, stuff like that. So
It's a little scary if you ask me.
it's scary that I often question myself why I like the topic, because it is, I'll never forget. I thought about this week. I was really young. I might have been Juliana's age at like 14. And I read this book, and I don't know how I got my hands on it. I should never have read it. But it was a really disturbing book about this girl tied up in a basement. And I don't remember the name of the book, but I just remembered that it was oddly fascinating to me. And that kind of bothers me, though.
That's
like,
a lot interesting.
It is interesting. Like I mean, you know me, I don't even eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. I don't even want animals to get hurt. But when I hear about murders and stuff, they don't bother me as much as they should. I don't know if that's normal, but
probably not.
I think it's fascinating because it's something that I would never imagine doing. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a psychological thing. I don't know.
I was going to ask, like, what is it about? Like, can you pinpoint what it is? Is it the mystery behind it? Is it more of the psychology behind it?
I think what it is, yeah, it might be more so as I get older and I read more of these books that I'm reading. I tend to really like the police procedurals of how they actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Catch the killer.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it is. You're right. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with, I think I'm more fascinated with how they catch them and all of that than the crime itself.
So if I go disappearing.
No. You always get caught. That's the thing. If you watch all of the only killer that never got caught.
Zodiac.
Thank you. It was just coming to me. And I don't think I'd ever realized that he didn't get caught until I watched a little bit of a documentary on him. But what's fascinating to me after doing all this research. Yes.
Hi. I was just gonna
go ahead. I'm sorry. Please cut me off because you need to interact.
I was going to address the just the chat real quick. I think you're doing fine. So we got Left Eye Ego again. Oh snap, Mr. and Mrs. CannoliSasquatch, Abomination AJ, Double G Greg. He watches crime shows on the ID channel and other channels. Talks about Kemper, Alcala, etc. Obviously, Left Eye Egos. I'm definitely sipping on some good wine and listening to y'all. Lizzie Borden is his serial killer.
Yeah, she was an older one. She was a sick bitch. Okay. Let's just say.
Diana, if I can get away with it or get paid to kill, I would. Haha. That's scary, but okay. Okay.
I don't know what Greg's talking about.
Rodney was the dating same toxic as Rodney Alcala. The dating game. Oh, I remember that. I do know that story. Yes. He actually won, but the lady declined to go out with him because she thought he was strange. And she said she lived.
He was a serial killer? I didn't know about that.
Killer's always a
let me tell you something. Once I dive into this, all of my 7 pages worth of notes, you will find that every single person that knew them, most of the people that knew them, will always say they were a great person. They were so nice. They would do anything for you. I never saw this coming.
Never.
That describes me. So
yeah, we're fine. I'm just Tanner. If I go disappear, you can have my gun collection.
No, but the point is one thing that you always find out, and Tanner can back me up watching documentaries, is 99% of the time you always get caught because you get stupid and you slip up. And one of the killers that I'm going to talk about got caught because of a stupid, lazy mistake. But what I find fascinating is that I feel like there are a lot more serial killers out there that are a lot more disturbing than the ones that get credit. Like, for instance, right now, the, help me out. Jeffrey Dahmer is really popular right now because of the Netflix documentary. Well, my daughter and I watched it, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, the way it was portrayed in this way. And Greg doesn't like who created the show, so he feels like it was biased and it was a little woke. But I kind of feel like, in comparison to some of the ones that I'm going to talk about, Jeffrey Dahmer was nothing to be worried about. And that's sad.
Yeah, because he's like one of the marquee. He's like one of the marquee serial killers.
He's very pop. Kind of like
But I don't understand why he's so popular, because I've got some other freakazoids that are way. So, okay, and I don't really know how this is going to go, because it seems like I'm the only one that has.
Just go along with it and see
What are you doing? Are you on your dating app?
I'm conversing with my fellow YouTubers.
Okay. And Tanner, jump in anytime, because I don't really know what you want to bring to the table.
His charming good looks.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, your mom said she watched 2 episodes of Dahmer and can't watch anymore. You know, it didn't. Here's the thing, too, that really, really bothers me about myself. This will probably be used in the court of law, this whole stream.
Listen, yes. If you're any attorneys are watching.
I'm pretty desensitized to a lot of this stuff. I don't know why. Maybe if it was about an animal, I'd be really upset. But when it comes to people, I don't know why. It doesn't bother me. But like the Jeffrey Dahmer, the only part of that whole series that really bothered me was when he killed the deaf kid. Spoiler alert, if nobody knew. But that bothered me because he really did actually care for him, but he just didn't know how to care for him. And I felt bad because
I think he's still watching the show.
But
it's a true story.
Yeah, but he didn't know that was a true story.
Oh, I'm sorry, Whiskey Banger.
Who, me? Oh,
Yeah,
no, I already knew. I already
you.
know all the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. I have not finished the show yet, but it's okay.
Well, for people who didn't know, now you know.
But okay, here's the thing. It's kind of like telling you how 9/11 ended.
Problem I have with true crime.
Spoilers. Plain.
Spoiler alert, the buildings came down.
Problem I have with true crime is that somewhat glorifies some of these people.
It's true.
I know you can say that about any genre. I know you can say that about a lot of different genres, different types of things like this. But the Dahmer thing seems like it's so played out because it's all you've been hearing about for the last few years. Documentary after documentary after documentary.
Well, and you can only do so many.
And during this Netflix series, a lot of the family members coming out who upset, saying that it glorified him, and
you just threw your pen on the floor,
pen on the floor, and it's glorifying him a little bit. It's kind of making him a celebrity status level person when they're still suffering from their loved ones being killed. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that about a lot of things. It's just, to me, true crime just gets, like she said, it gets played out.
It does get played out. Like, I didn't really need to watch the Dahmer documentary or the series, but Juliana was watching it, and that's when Daddy was out of town, and the kid and I decided to watch it together. I did learn a couple of things that I didn't know, but I don't know how necessary it is to rehash this. But the reason why this is happening is because there is such an interest. I mean, look at all the podcasts. There's a million.
First of all, it's October, and it's that time of the year.
That's why we're doing this episode.
Scary season.
Spoopy.
Well, here's 2 facts that are just general facts that I thought were interesting. So, on average, you will walk past 36 murderers in your lifetime.
Sorry, Tanner.
And I found out today that there's 25 to 50 active serial killers at any one time.
Jesus.
I believe it.
So,
is that where do we count Filipino Meatball in that category? Because he is missing, right? He's in California, quotations.
Well, I mean, he's probably scouting out some victims,
right? Gonna bury them under Mickey's mansion, whatever the hell the Disney castle.
You need help there?
It's been a long day.
Are you having a seizure? What's going on?
So, Whiskey Banger, before I get into some of my notes here, do you have any thing that you'd like to share? Any stories? Any particular serial killers you'd like to talk about, or did you just kind of want to?
Yeah, sure. So
yeah, go ahead.
Like I kind of talked about earlier, my favorite serial killer is a Brazilian gentleman. His name is Pedro.
And I don't know anything about it, so I would love to hear what you have to say, because I don't know a whole lot about him, I guess.
Yeah, so this guy's name is Pedro Filho. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce
Wait a minute, what's his name?
Pedro Filho. You
know what? So real quick, I pulled oh no, that's Pedro Lopez. Sorry. I pulled up like the 10 most scariest sadistic killers, and there was a Pedro on the list, and I thought that's
generalizing a whole demographic. Why don't you?
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Pedro, some brown guy.
Yeah.
Well, you said he was Brazilian?
Yeah, so he's a Brazilian guy, and he was charged with 71 murders. He claims that he murdered over 100, but the key is, and this is why I like him so much and why he's so fascinating, is his victims were all murderers, drug dealers, rapists, criminals, like
bad guy going after bad
worst type of criminal. So
see, and that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, like the dude's a saint. I love the guy. So to me, he's the most fascinating guy because, I mean, I'll be honest, there's times I'm watching the news and I see some nasty, somebody do something nasty. And I'm like, that guy needs to,
go away.
He needs to be killed and done away with. Yep. And this guy went up straight up. He got caught. He served 34 years combined, and then he got released because they don't have the death penalty.
That's not bad, though, for killing all those people. To be honest with you, they probably like, well, you kind of did us a favor, so we'll cut you some slack.
He's from Brazil. That's punishment enough.
Yeah.
Brazil's not nice?
Maybe. I don't know.
Now, that kind of reminds me of why I really, and I know this is for another podcast, but that's what I loved so much about the Saw movies. I don't like scary movies, but the Saw franchise is all about people that are scumbags getting what's coming to them. And that's why I didn't mind those people getting annihilated and all their limbs cut off and all that stuff, because they were pieces of shit that needed to be taught a lesson. So I actually enjoyed that franchise because of it. So maybe I'm a sick, twisted person too.
On a nerd thing, Whiskey Banger, isn't Blanca from Street Fighter from Brazil?
Jesus.
Yes.
There you go. That's all for my fellow nerds out there. There you go.
I would like to look into that one more because I've never heard of that one, but there was a lot of ones I had to do deep dives. What really concerns me is I brought up the serial killer that I'm going to save for last because it's the most horrific. Let me tell you something. It makes Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer look like kindergartners. It is so horrific. And the fact that my daughter, who's 14, has heard of this serial killer, I don't know if that bothered me more, but she knew about him.
Damn, is he on TikTok?
He's dead. But we'll get to that.
All right. Well, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start off with our first crazy killer.
I'm not going to go to that one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with, this one is semi-popular, but I'm not sure if most people, what, you want to hold my paper?
I want to see what the paper says.
The paper? Okay, I got to read my notes though, babe.
We're communicating.
We're going to go right here.
Characteristics.
Okay, so there was a couple, and I didn't write down the years, but all of this stuff was a lot of like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Like, I don't know what people are doing, but there's no recent serial killers that I know about. Do you? Like, I haven't heard anybody recently.
Like recent in
like the last,
in the last decade, maybe.
I mean, I would say no. I mean, there's been some murders and whatnot, but I don't think they've been classified as like a serial killer.
What was the Virginia high? What was the one that the how long ago was that with the Virginia sniper?
Remember that was like
the DC sniper.
DC sniper.
That was late 90s, wasn't it, or early 2000s?
He was
like early 2000s.
He was considered a serial killer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But that a lot of these people though were convicted in the early 2000s. But
yeah, you got to read this. This is crazy.
I told you.
Wow.
Okay, so there is a couple named Fred and Rose West.
Bastards.
And
mother and father of the year.
The characteristics of Fred and Rose are rape, incest, torture. That's supposed to be mutilation and dismemberment. Before we get started, I would like to let our viewers know that this is not going to be an easy show. It's going to be very disturbing, very graphic.
And there goes all of our listeners.
No, I'm just letting people know that this is
for the adults only.
Right, it is.
Can you handle it? Abomination AJ sent me a tweet that he was a little scared, but
that's okay.
I think he can hang in there.
So, and Whiskey Banger, interject anytime you want because I know I talk too much.
But please interject. Please.
You should sleep with one eye open.
I do anyway. You watch all this shit. It's scary.
Okay, so they were a husband and wife crime team, and this is how their lives started. Ready for this? Fred was molested by his mother when he was 12 and lost his virginity to her.
Nice.
Okay.
That's good parenting right there. Get him.
The wife was molested by her father. Okay. So Fred by his mother, Rose by his father, her father. So when they got together, hey, molestation's the way to go. It's obviously normal.
It's a nice icebreaker.
Right. So,
Jesus.
yeah, they both thought molestation was normal.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Where are you at here? Because I got to read some of this. This
Well,
is wild.
Well, I really didn't because I have, and I'm sorry if my boss is listening, but I have a full-time job and I had to take notes too. So they're not in order.
Please, I edited half my videos this week at work.
But I'm not really sure. Oh, I'm sorry. So Fred was married originally. I don't remember how young he was when he got married, but he got married, and the woman he was married to had a daughter already. So he had a stepdaughter. Well, for whatever reason, they got divorced, and then he gets married to Rose, and him and Rose have a daughter together. Well, in the meantime, somehow...
Hey, Michelle. Sorry, I just want to cut you off. Michelle.
Oh, hi, Michelle.
Cousin Michelle.
We're talking about serial killers that are scary and sadistic
and
that you may not have heard about. And we're starting off, we just got started with Fred and Rose West.
And thank you, Frankie from New York City, chiming in
my pal, Frankie.
late at night there, Frankie. How you doing, sweetheart?
Thanks, Frankie. Don't forget your shoes, pal. He'll get that. Anyway, after Fred divorced his first wife, she disappeared. And I don't know, because it was kind of sketchy on the details. I don't know how he obviously took over the stepdaughter, but then he has a stepdaughter, and then him and Rose have a daughter together. He made his 5-year-old watch a porn that him and his wife made. So his mother and father made a porn and made the $5
whore. She's a
$5-year-old daughter watch, because he said it was his parental duty to break in his daughter as soon as they reached puberty.
Oh my fucking God.
Even though 5 wasn't, then he wanted to start early.
Father of the year.
He told his daughters it was the father's right to take their virginity. And he did. He made sure of that.
Sure did.
So the husband and wife both thinking that molestation is normal, they felt like it was fine for their kids. So anyway, they used to lure young women back to their home and have their way with them. They always remove the fingers and toes and split up all their body parts, because if you remove the fingers and toes, then you can't do fingerprints. And you can't, even though dental records, I'm not really sure. They weren't the smartest, but anyway, this was a pretty interesting, and this one I don't have a lot of information on, but it's going to get worse. So anyway.
Hope your kids are ready.
What was I? So he ended up killing his first wife and his stepdaughter, and get this, he buried his stepdaughter out in the garden, and he laid the pavers in it like a tic-tac-toe or crossword. And when the cops asked him where she was, he was like, he thought it was funny to describe her location. She's 3 down and 2 to the left.
By the way, we got a notice from Filipino Meatball that he might do a live check-in, and he says hi.
Well, tell him to stand on something tall so the camera will see him.
Damn.
I thought it was interesting too that
Go ahead. Keep talking.
While Fred was in jail for some minor traffic violations, Rose just decided to kill the stepdaughter.
Cool.
So he just killed the stepdaughter. There was one interview where the most disturbing thing was the way he describes Rose sawing off his daughter's head with a bread knife, like he was talking about a car he saw on a walk and was just chilling.
Thanks, Stovepipe.
Oh, hi, Stovepipe. Oh shit, there's a giant Italian skeleton. Look, and bloody hands. Woo! because that's who we are. We like to have themed shirts. So anyway, the whole thing of it is I didn't really know a lot about Fred and Rose West. I believe, though, Fred always wanted to be in control. So once he was people you'd want to invite for Thanksgiving. Absolutely, Frankie. I'm sending out invitations early.
Christmas. Who's cooking the Christmas goose that year?
But I want to say, and like I said, my notes, I don't think I wrote down that, but I want to say that he wanted to control the whole situation to where he actually killed himself in prison. And Rose had to get stuck with a lot of she tried to say that she didn't have anything to do with it, but they traced back the killing of the stepdaughter to when Fred was in jail. Yeah. Okay. So that one's just a quick one to start.
And it gets worse, people.
Jesus. I'm sitting here thinking it's going to be blood and guts, and we're talking about incest.
No, we're beyond blood and guts here, but yeah, we're kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not what you expected.
Yeah, I have a couple. So I'm going to go from what I researched. Is he frozen? There he goes. Good. I'm going to go from, like I said, I researched the top scariest and most sadistic serial killers. So I'm going to go from not so bad to holy shit.
I think Michelle, this is right up her alley.
This is right up Michelle's alley because Michelle is the cousin that I went to.
She's the horror movie.
She's the one that went to the podcast thing with me. My Favorite Murder, and we wore
stovepipe. That
guy was pretty rude. Which guy?
The guy you were just talking about.
I know. Fred was a real piece of shit. I mean, he took his daughter's virginity. Jesus.
That's great.
As my 14-year-old is overhearing this will be real good. She'll need more therapy next week. It was good, Michelle. We had so much fun. I actually had a shirt made with their slogan that says, "Stay sexy, don't get murdered." That's their tagline.
Yeah, that made me feel real comfortable when she came home with that shirt.
Oh, and then Michelle and I went to a restaurant downtown that has a whole basement full of scary dolls. Oh my God. It was really cool. So anyway, so like I said, I'm going to go from what I feel like is minor to.
Yeah, you do that.
Here's another one that I found was, oh God. Yeah. This guy was a.
Hanny's.
Hold on.
That's the name of the restaurant, Hanny's.
Oh yeah, it was. It was so much fun. We had so much fun that night.
I don't know, Tam. You know, Whiskey. We go to cold beers and cheeseburgers and watch football. They go to places with weird dolls.
And then we go to murder podcast shows.
What do we? What? Some correlation there. Some differences there.
Your wife definitely has some. Some
I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah, you better watch your back.
I'm going to be on a documentary soon. I don't know what happened to Greg.
Okay. I got to keep my pages in order. I mean, I have a lot of notes here. It's ridiculous. It's going to get bad, people. So, Grandma said, that restaurant scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, it would me too.
I have some pictures of it. It was pretty interesting. So, okay. The next person we're going to talk about is
Dracula.
Oh, we're going to get to the Dracula. We're going to get to the Vampire of San Francisco, Sacramento.
That Dracula's a real piece of shit.
Vampire of Sacramento.
Oh, excuse me. Where do you find this shit? The Vampire of San Francisco?
Sacramento.
Why are movies not made about these people?
This is what I'm talking about. I don't understand why I'm having to talk about people that I've never. I mean, I've never heard of these, and I dove in for 2 years on these podcasts.
Talk about whoever you want to talk about them.
All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is Keith Hunter Jefferson, and he was the Happy Face Killer. Has anybody, Whiskey Banger, have you heard of him?
I've heard of. Yes.
I got it confused with the movie that just came out called Smile. I thought it had something to do with that, but I guess that's just a movie about stupid shit.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the Happy Face. I'm not familiar with the guy's actual name, though.
Well, let's just say, okay, hold on a second. I'm just reviewing all my notes. Oh my God. Okay. So he was his father was very domineering and looked down on women and thought women were pieces of shit. So it really always starts in the home. That's why we're trying to be the best parents we can be, because we don't want to raise a serial killer.
Might be too late with you in the house.
Just because I have blood on my. Do you know where the blood came from?
Diana says she loved the happy face killer.
Oh, good, Diana. So if I've missed any like interesting facts, please put them in the chat so I can, because I tried to do as much as I could. So his father was very domineering and he looked down on women. And of course, he had major control issues. And at 7 years old, just like anything else, he started torturing animals because he liked to control creatures.
That's not a sign or anything.
No. So he ended up being a 6'7" divorced father of 3. He wanted to, I'm sorry, I know I'm really trying here with all my notes, but you know, I have so many of them. Okay. So anyway, he ended up after he was awkward in school and just, you know, they're always awkward. They're always shy. They always have a problem. I'm editing my review of Smile as we speak. It was creepy as shit. You know, I wondered if I needed to see that movie, but I don't do very well with scary movies.
I heard Left Eye Ego was talking about that on the show. I'm interested to see what his review of that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see it. But so anyway, this Keith guy ended up becoming a truck driver because he knew that he could, you know, keep on with his fetish on the road. So he hold on, I'm so sorry. These notes are all over the place. You should fire me, Greg. Okay. So anyway, you know what? I guess this one wasn't as okay, so here's a little excerpt from somebody that they talked about. He, not so much just him, but the idea of that he was an over-the-road trucker. The FBI had a map diagram with over 500 locations of dead bodies that are believed to be from trucker serial killers. It's a perfect job for somebody. You pick up a girl at a truck stop, get her in the sleeper, you do your thing, park somewhere in another state and dump the body. And in this case, he did. There was one point where he actually picked up a girl and killed her. And you want to know how he liked to kill?
Yes.
Talking too much?
You asked me to do this.
Dude, she's going to kill you tonight.
You asked me to do this.
She's already learning how to... No, it's all right. Michelle says it's part of the banter. It's all good. Love you. You can go and keep reading.
He liked to punch his victims in the throat and the neck.
Nice.
And the face.
Karate chop that shit.
He was known as a puncher. So one of his victims, he didn't want them to be able to be identified, so he tied her to the bottom of his semi.
Wow.
And dragged her.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yep. But guess what?
Oh,
they still were able to identify her body. So anyway, he enjoyed
Abomination. AJ's laughing. So is Michelle. This is our life. This is how we are.
Yeah, no, this is
true love, people.
We've been referred to as Peg and Al Bundy, but we actually love each other. So, I mean, they did
so
too.
in
a way,
weird way.
So he enjoyed stop, start. Let me try that again.
Stop.
Strangulation. So the very first victim that he killed, there was a woman who was so pissed at her boyfriend, who was an alcoholic, that she pinned the murder on him and his friend. And because there was no major evidence, they both got convicted to life in prison.
Oh, God. Bad luck.
Yeah. So Happy Face was not happy because he's like, fuck no, that is my doing. You know
who was happy? The guy in his jail cell that was taking him to Pound Town. I mean,
went dark.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. So he was so pissed that he decided to write a letter to the Oregon courthouse. Oh, no, wait. Sorry. Let me back up because he did something really weird first. He stopped at a truck stop and he actually wrote on the wall in a truck stop.
Red rum?
Nope. He wrote on the wall, I beat her, I raped her, I killed her, and I liked it too. And 2 people are being blamed for it. And he signed it with a happy face. But nobody put 2 and 2 together at that time.
Jesus.
Then somebody else was killed and it was all over the news. And he was just like, dude, I need some, recognition for this. So that's when he wrote a letter confessing some of his killings to an Oregon courthouse, because that's the state he killed them in. And he always signed with a smiley face.
Jeez. Yeah, if people have trouble sleeping tonight, don't blame me.
He crushed a woman's Adam's apple with his elbow till she died.
That's a good way to do it, right? Just kind of.
I mean, I got to give this guy credit because he's not just using a gun.
Right, he's not doing the traditional stuff.
No. And so here,
points for imagination. Using the semi truck was pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, because he would pick them up in one truck stop, and then he would drive, and he would just take them and then just drop them.
I like how Michelle's laughing.
Of course she is.
We're talking about people's Adam's apples being crushed by elbows.
I think I might get them confused because I did a lot of research, but there was one serial killer that would shove his fist down their throat to make sure they were not breathing.
Have you all seen that Megan?
Megan is missing?
No. Whiskey Banger, do me a favor. Abomination AG, thank you for bringing this up. Please, people in the chat, Whiskey Banger, go watch this trailer called Megan. It's about an AI artificial robot that goes on a murdering spree. This is first of all, I know it's supposed to be a funny horror, like a kind of a not goofy. It's one of those horror movies that tries to take itself seriously, but it's so over the top. Abomination AJ, good man. Watch this trailer and tell me that you don't see the future of what's going to happen with AI, and tell me it's the creepiest shit I've ever seen in my life. You got a robot teenage girl dancing. She's stabbing people. She's fucking murdering people. Watch it. Thank you. Good call out, Abomination AJ. Go watch that trailer after we're done because, by the way, please like, subscribe, and share the channel.
Oh, God, he's such a bully. Please do it. I'm tired of hearing it.
We need to get, real quick, not to cut anybody off. We're 22 subscriptions away on YouTube from 100. So we're really doing well for the growth that we have since we started.
We need to get on Rumble. That's why he's being so pushy.
I am on Rumble. You can also follow me on Rumble.
So we can go live on there.
If I get 100 people on Rumble, I can go live on Rumble. Right now, my goal is to get 100 here on YouTube before the end of the year. And now back to the show.
Well, I'm going to wrap this one up with a little bow, or as you would say, a cord that strangled the person.
Jesus, I'm not coming out of this alive.
You are 6'5". I'm 5'6". How the hell am I going to take you down?
You could get me in my sleep.
Are you asking?
Got a point.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
You're not going to hell, Michelle.
What if Cassie's listening, Tanner? I mean, Whiskey Banger.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she is pregnant, so the belly would get in the way. You're lucky.
Well, I mean, she's a fiery Italian, but I don't really see her.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with either one of these women.
So I'm going to wrap up his little adventure.
Thanks,
he actually decided to stop at a truck stop in Arizona, of all places.
Shocking.
Call the detective and confess his murders because this douchebag was so stupid that he actually started to hang out with a couple of people at another truck stop and at a bar and got friendly with people and met a couple of ladies and took one of the ladies into the truck with him, ended up killing her. Well, the reason why it was traced back to him and how he got caught is the victim that he killed and her friend did a sale of a car between the two of them. And Smiley Face decided to be a witness on the sale. So they had his name.
Good.
They always get sloppy. They sloppy in the end.
And shout out to Left Eye Ego. Thank you for retweeting our live stream.
Oh, I forgot to tweet. I need to be better at tweeting.
And I'll be, if you guys are doing a stream tomorrow with you and Abomination, I will be watching and chatting and with you guys. So thank you very much, though, appreciate that.
I kind of feel like I'm just educating and you guys are just sitting here. I feel bad.
Listen, I'm enjoying my lime bubbly.
Are you all right there, Whiskey Banger?
I'm doing great. I'm worried for Mr. CannoliSasquatch's health.
For me.
Later
well,
on
if
tonight.
I come over tomorrow and I have way more blood on this shirt than I did tonight, then
so Greg, we were going to play Call of Duty tomorrow, but you didn't get my invite.
Where's Greg? Where's Greg?
Patty.
I think the most disturbing. Go ahead.
I think this it's a fascinating topic because you touched on something with the first rapist incest.
Oh, that was
couple.
weird. Yeah.
It's weird because like in all the stories I read, all the documentaries I watch, podcasts I listen to, I always find myself kind of feeling bad for the guy. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the dude was raped by his mom. The dude was
Yes.
beat by his
Because of
dad. The
his
dude was
circumstances.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was bullied by everyone. He was given up by his parents to some, adoption agency or
That's
orphanage.
always the story. They are always given away. They're always not loved. They're always neglected. And I think that's part of it too, why I feel like I'm a little desensitized, because it's like, what do you expect this person to do? Like, okay,
Well, hold on, though. Yes.
wait. You didn't. If you watch the
mean-
Jeffrey Dahmer documentary,
Mm.
he didn't mean to kill them. He just wanted somebody to love him.
So he just decided to kill how many people?
You have to watch it. Whiskey Banger's watching it. I think
But he's
do you
still-
understand what I'm saying as far as what you've been watching?
Here's the difference. He crossed
exactly.
that line.
Like he didn't want to be left alone. That was the thing
and
that
he
I
let
took
you
away
know
from
that.
him.
Right.
Yeah, and it was he was tired of being left, tired of being pushed out by his parents, his mom. I mean, don't even get me started with his mom. But
he had a good dad, though. That's the thing. His mom was a friggin' piece of shit, but he had a dad who, except for when, I don't know how far you are in the series, but it's common knowledge, until he left his son while he was like, 17 or 18 by himself for 3 months at a time. But do you feel like maybe the dad did try to do his best?
I feel like it's weird. It's like yes and no. I feel like his dad was trying to do the right thing, but I also feel like his dad was one of the reasons why he started getting into a lot of the weird shit.
Yeah.
Because
Like-
of the roadkill stuff and showing him how to.
Yeah, and I mean, it starts out as something very innocent and like benign. Just, hey, look, I did this one, experiment in college or whatever. But it's like your kid's already kind of weird. He's already got some problems, and he's way too young to be seeing stuff like that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But-
maybe I think that was on before like that. He's playing with the light over here. I'm sorry. I need to make sure my complexion looks good. No, I think you're right too, and I have to say that you, as a parent, you always try to think like, I mean, your baby is still young, and I guess we can say names. I don't know, but
Yeah,
with my
fine.
daughter being 14 and very extremely impressionable, you question everything that you let them see or you talk
Sure.
about or you let them
Especially these
hear,
days.
and you wonder if it's going to cause any damage. Because especially with my daughter, like she'll take certain things and just it'll be a trigger for her and she'll never forget it. And you always wonder if that's something later in life that's going to cause them to make a really
yelling at them about not cleaning their room or touching their wee-wee is a big difference.
touching their wee-wee.
Well, some of these kids were molested. And
Oh, that point.
like
yeah,
that, I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess some people just can't handle it. I don't know. There's people who come out
But
of that.
I have to say that you're right. The majority of these people, you can't blame them for being the way that they are because they never had a shot to begin with.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, I do have some sympathy for a lot of these people because they did have horrific
Yes.
upbringings.
I mean, being molested by your mother and losing your
I'm not
virginity
saying
to
that.
her,
I'm not
that's
saying
disgusting.
I can't understand, but when you cross that line, it's like I don't know. Because what about the people who don't cross that line and eventually come out of it?
It's true.
Or
It's
is
true.
it a brain chemistry thing where you get so screwed up, like your brain chemistry changes to the point where it's so bad that you can't snap at? I don't know.
And then you don't have the right people in your corner trying to help you and get you help. Now, I will say, and like I said, I don't know how far you are on the Dahmer documentary, and please, am I spoiling anything for you if I talk about it? You don't
You
care?
can-
Okay.
I know I already know all the key points with
Okay.
him.
There was stuff
So,
that I
like-
didn't know. That's why I'm mentioning, because I didn't know that, like, when he went to jail after he got out of the army, I don't know if that was, I forget what he went to jail for, but do you remember his dad? I don't know if you've gotten to that point yet, but his dad wrote a letter to the jail and asked them to please get his son some help. He needed mental help. So they never they never took him seriously. And when he got out of jail, he said, Jeffrey, did you ever get any sort of help in there? And he said, no, I just did my day-to-day stuff and that was it. So I feel like Jeffrey could have gotten some help if he wasn't completely ignored. So I kind of felt bad for that, where the dad did try, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, the kids are screwed from the get-go. They have no chance at that point. If you've been raped by your mom, you're kind of screwed.
Jesus.
No, I mean, you don't really normally hear in these stories about the men being raped by their mother. It's always the daughters being molested by a male family member.
That's a good point.
So to hear that Fred was molested by his mother, I mean, it's just disgusting. So, I do tend to feel bad for some of them, but at the same time, we don't know how their brain works. And one of the things that really bothered me too is that Jeffrey's dad, and the reason why I'm talking about Dahmer is just because it's really popular right now because of the series and stuff. But the mom wanted his brain examined and the dad did not. And because Dahmer's last wishes is he wanted his whole body together. He didn't want it split up. And the reason why is because John Wayne Gacy, his brain was, I believe his brain was examined and they found nothing wrong. So the dad was like, well, there was nothing wrong with Gacy. And the interesting part too is that Gacy was executed the same day that Jeffrey Dahmer asked to be baptized in jail.
Jesus.
As interesting as that is, at the same time that Gacy was being given the needle, Dahmer was being baptized. They brought in
he's exorcised the demons.
And there's your comedic relief, people. Who needs Filipino meatballs?
This house is clean.
Yeah, Michelle, isn't that crazy? It was really interesting, and that's why
that is weird.
That's why I felt like even though there was an agenda and it was woke, blah 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 blah, there were certain parts of the Netflix series that I found that were interesting, such as that information.
It is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, on the same exact day, because of course, Jeffrey Dahmer, I think, felt like if he was given himself to God, that it would erase all of the stuff that he did.
But did it though?
Well, I don't know where he is now. You should have covered that in your last podcast on the afterlife.
Oh, maybe we could have chatted. We could have talked. We should have had a seance. We should have had a seance.
Okay, so
Gacy's last words were "kiss my ass," Greg says.
No, that is absolutely true. They were "kiss my ass." He was, because do you know that Gacy? I did watch a documentary on him last Sunday. This was before I decided that I was going to go into a direction of serial killers that people didn't really know a lot about, because everybody knows about Bundy and Gacy and Dahmer, and it was just like
the heavy hitters,
as they would say. So Gacy went to the grave saying that he never killed anybody.
Really?
That's why I said kiss. That's what I thought I saw in the documentary. But you know what? Once again, he didn't really. I'm like, okay. He dressed as a clown, and everybody liked him, and he strangled people, and he drowned them. See, this is what concerns me.
That's fucking concerning, because
I need more.
Jesus. Who's your next one?
Your dog's. I think she needs to go out. I don't know. No, I don't want to. See, I don't know. She's laying by the back door. You might want to see if you can out. No, you need. Don't worry about it. Just leave her in. Oh,
she's good. Go ahead.
All right. I mean, you can put us back on until she comes in.
No, go ahead. That's what that thing's for.
Oh, you have to look at this CannoliSasquatch. All right, so let's move on to you. Mike D just joined.
Hey, Mike D, what's up, buddy? Thank you for joining.
Okay, here's a really disturbing one that, I mean, they're all disturbing, but this was one that I was not very familiar with. So if anybody has ever heard of a serial killer called Richard Chase, he was the vampire of Sacramento.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, I got to hear about this.
He was
I've
a
never heard of
blood,
this.
yeah, he was a blood drinking serial killer.
Yes, my kind of man right there.
Okay, so I tried to put these notes in chronological order. Say that 15 times after drinking. Are you going to put her on the stream? All right, hold on a second. We have a special guest popping up.
That's
That's our little Zelda, named after the video game.
Unlike her.
Hi Zelda. Where's Link?
Okay, I'm going to try. I think I was really good about doing things in order, but so let's just start off with saying at age 10, he start. Oh, what did he say? Oh, what up, Z?
What up, Z?
Aw, grandma says, hi, my Zelda. So Richard Chase, better known as the Vampire of Sacramento, started killing cats at age 10.
And there it is. That's how it starts.
And the mom knew and did nothing. The neighborhood cat started disappearing, and the mom's like, oh, that's just my Richard. Okay.
Little Richard.
So, he was, of course, Jeffrey's last words were, I don't care if I live or die, go ahead and kill me. Is that what he said, Jules, to the guy who beat the shit out of him? Okay.
Bastard.
Yeah, so the guy that ended up, sorry, spoiler alert, Whiskey Banger, he gets killed.
Shucks. You didn't know that?
You don't say.
But I think he was so numb by the time he was in jail because he was going to be there for life anyway. Yeah. He wanted the death penalty. That's another thing. Jeffrey Dahmer wanted the death penalty. He did not want to live, and they're like, they just, or they didn't. I don't remember if he was on death row and they.
It's called saving taxpayer money.
No shit. Who wants to pay for all those Bologna sandwiches? Bologna. Bologna. If you say it phonetically, it's Bologna.
There's a lot of things phonetically you're not supposed to say.
Like my name is not phonetically correct either.
Because your mom's a drug addict. Anyway, go ahead. It's the normal Friday night in our household.
So much like everybody else, Richard was very awkward. He was shy. He wasn't one with the ladies.
He'd like to drink blood.
He couldn't perform with women the way he wanted to, so he started to blame his body for it. And he saw a therapist for it.
He didn't take Blue Chew?
No, it wasn't even his wiener, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
So he turned to drugs because of it. He became obsessed with his health, and he was convinced his major organs were failing him. So he started seeing a bunch of doctors, and he went to a bunch of different doctors. I don't know what specialties, but they all said he was healthy.
Wee implants?
No, those not that type of doctors. And this was back in the. I'm really sorry. I thought I had dates, but
Let's say it was a long time. Well, I'm gonna guess it's a long time ago.
No, I want to say. Why do I want to say 80s, 90s, 2000s? I don't know.
Sounds about right.
I mean, it wasn't like 40s and 50s. These are all like 70s on.
All right, go ahead.
Were you just moving me along?
No. Let's wrap it up.
Remember, he asked me to do this
Oh,
podcast.
no, it's great, but I'm just saying, like,
we're only at the hour mark. You like to go 2 hours. I'm trying to.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying you're doing a fine
Why
job.
you? Okay.
I just like to do this.
It was 1977 and 1978.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is what I need you for, because my husband over here is looking at who's tweeting him, and you're doing research. Thank you.
I'm advertising our
he's looking up sports scores right now, and the
just-
Mets are out. So why are you wasting your time?
That was hurtful. Number one.
So anyway, all the doctors told him he was healthy, but he was not convinced that he was healthy. So he started drinking rabbit's blood for his heart condition that he thought he had. He lived by a rabbit farm, and so he would just go, and he decided that he would start drinking rabbit's blood because it would help his heart. Well, for that reason, at 23 years old, he was diagnosed with, shocker, paranoid schizophrenia and psychiatric disturbances of major proportions.
Jesus.
You don't say.
Just a little oopsie problem,
You know. He's just a little crazy.
Little bit. So, let's see what was next. Oh, so he's drinking this rabbit's blood, and of course, what happens? It makes him sick. So he goes to the hospital, where he told them what he was doing. So they admitted him to a mental hospital, which is the right move. Well, he was only in the hospital for 5 months, and he had treatment with medication, and they thought he was well enough to, be put back in the into society, as they say. So a few months later, he was able to suppress it for a while. I think they gave me from July to September. He was able to hold his shit together. And a few months later, he started his blood drinking fascination again. And, I think they were out of rabbits. So he started hunting animals.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at my.
No, it's okay. What did you say?
Oh
if
my
I
God.
Don't make it after this podcast.
Hold on. We have a special guest.
Oh, he's interrupting the good part.
Hi, everyone.
It's a small world after all.
I'm going to assume you're saying good things because I can barely hear you.
It's okay. You don't need to. Oh, he even put Filipino meatball. Filipino meatball is calling for Disneyland.
Oh,
give me the meat and give it to me raw. Abomination, AJ. I'm a vegetarian.
I know what that's from.
Oh, was that from a movie?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh, look, and he's giving us. Are you waiting for the fireworks show?
We are.
Yep. Well, thank you for completely putting a halt to the podcast. We appreciate it.
No worries. I just want you guys to know I had the spaghetti and meatballs for dinner. It was horrendously bad.
Well,
who gets spaghetti and meatballs at Disneyland, you nerd?
The wife said it looked good. I was like, okay. She got it. And I was like, I'm going to go get a corn dog.
That's disgusting, especially when we're talking about serial killers. So you had red sauce and meatball, and we talk about people eating. Gross.
Correct.
Filipino, give me a rating out of 10 for the biscuits and gravy.
Oh, so the biscuit itself was like a 6. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great. The gravy was like a 10 out of 10.
Oh, shit.
It was
Disney doesn't
fire.
Bad.
And I went back up there and I was like, yo, can I do another biscuit and gravy? And they were like, have you tried the biscuit with chicken and gravy? And I was like, nah, but yes, I do. Put it on the plate and I was like, went backward, 2 more servings.
I remember liking actually Disneyland food. I remember being expensive, but I remember.
Wait, hold on. So somebody said that there are pumpkin spice churros there. Have you had one?
I've had every churro in the park.
Good job.
Pumpkin spice is, I would say, like a 7.
Really? So do you think the original is better?
No. So the original was good. I'd give that a 6. But the best one in the park right now, 8.5 French toast.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Okay.
It was really good. And I was like, okay. And then
more
they're like,
importantly, have you tried the Dole Whip?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Of course you have.
Dole Whip, I would say, is like a 7.5. It's like a classic. You can go to it. You know what it is. It's going to work.
You have to just have it. And one more question. Has anybody asked for your autograph as one of the 7 dwarfs?
No. In fact, I went to see the princesses for the tiny human, and Snow White was in there. And she's like, get your ass back to work. And I was like, rude.
Shit.
Controversy. And I don't like you anymore.
Greg wants to know if you're being stalked by the ice Nazi serial killer.
True story, because I have a standing order every morning on Thursdays when I go there.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't go to work on Thursday because I was on PTO, and apparently there was a big fiasco about these 2 cups were left out for 6 hours. They went to my manager, they went to my director, and they were like, look, this person needs to be disciplined for this. And I may or may not got an email that was like, hey, next time, don't forget to stop your automatic orders.
By the way, I want to know.
Oh shit!
I want to know, since you're in Disney and Disney is like very progressive these days, were you forced to dress like a Disney princess?
So no, I was not forced, but I will tell you, I lost count on the first day of males dressed as female princesses.
Okay.
Are you serious?
And I was like, this can't be a thing. Like, it must have been just, I was like, this has to be a weird thing that's happening on Wednesday, right?
That's
No.
disgusting.
Every day. Every
Are you
single
serious?
day.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's
what you're telling me is you saw a lot of potential people that'll be on our next podcast about serial killers.
Yes. Fact. Well, I might be the serial killer because I might be like, we need to rid them of this planet.
There you
Put
go.
them on an island. Well, it sounds like you're having a blast there. When do you come home?
So this is our last night here. We drive home tomorrow. I will be back late tomorrow night.
How's the weather been there?
Dude, rained every day.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, that shit's coming our way actually.
Yeah. Like, never got over 75. Rained like
Okay.
it was like Seattle all day, every day.
Well, that's not bad coming from here though.
It's true. I'm like, I wasn't complaining about it at all. Plus, it gave me more reason to get more food because you couldn't walk as fast.
You burn a lot of calories in Disney because all you do is walk.
Yo, so
Yeah.
yesterday was our hardcore day, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna do as many rides as we possibly can, and legitimately, my Fitbit said 41 miles.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's how many steps? I'm curious. Do you log steps?
A billion steps.
A billion. Yeah.
I'll have to look. But hey, they all got back here. I just want to say hi to everybody, and I'm alive.
Hi Tim. Thank you.
And then we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Yes,
Thanks
sir,
for
buddy.
checking
Thanks
in.
for chiming in, buddy. Be safe coming home.
Later, guys.
Later, buddy.
Aw.
Huh.
Oh, I got a little tear. No, I'm just kidding.
I wanna-
My eye itched.
I want to see Filipino dressed up like a princess.
Well, I mean, it's
You know, I have to say, a side note, when we took Juliana there when she was like 5 and we did the whole princess experience, she got a whole makeover. She went to the Bippity
Yeah,
Boppity boutique.
that's what his daughter did too.
Yeah, and she was dressed up as Belle, and she got to have breakfast with the princesses, and all of her favorite princesses were there because you never know who you're going to get. We actually had an amazing time that vacation.
But that was also before Disney became the new Disney. they
No,
are
I
now.
know. It really
So-
was.
And that was before they raised their prices to $1,000 per person to get into this fucking thing.
Well, and here's the thing too, real quick side note, is that I follow some people on TikTok that their whole genre is they just go to the park every day and they film their entire experience. And they were talking about how they think it's ridiculous people are bitching about the price increase. And they said, obviously it's not affecting people because you should see how crowded it was.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that so basically what you're telling me is families are going into debt to go to Disneyland.
Yes.
is what you're
Yeah,
telling
you
me.
have. I would say for us 3 to go to Disneyland, it would probably be $3,000.
You up for that, Tanner?
No.
Okay, good.
I'd like to get new floors in my house.
All right,
Yeah,
back
exactly.
to the
Speaking
right.
of which, you can bury bodies under new floors. Okay, so
That was a
So
nice
for you
segue.
youngsters-
Right back on
Yeah.
track.
back to
Back
our
to-
podcast.
we last left off where a few months later he started getting the urge to drink blood again. So he took it to hunting animals and he killed his first cow. Now his gun of choice, and I tell me if this is a good gun because I heard it
Let
a
me see
lot.
which one is it?
22 caliber.
No.
I mean, that's
Was that like a popular 70s gun or something?
No, it's just a small, very small.
It's a tiny, it's like a small game cartridge, or people use it to just plink like tin cans. And
I mean, it's better than
Stuff.
nothing for
Mm.
protection.
yeah,
Gotcha.
like if it's not like a large caliber at all.
Disney World is overrated. Thank you, Abomination.
It is, but listen, I totally
I
get.
agree.
But wait, I totally get that they're assholes right now and they're woke and they have an agenda. However,
He just means an overall.
no, but there's part of me that like misses the idea of the park. There's something that you feel when you go there that is so.
I'd rather go other places.
What's
Let's
this?
dismiss Disney. I hate Disney. Disney is. Just watch She-Hulk and tell me if you want to go to Disneyland.
I don't. Well,
Yeah.
first of all,
Twerking whore. She's a whore.
Here's
She's a
the
whore.
thing, Cannoli. Let me ask you this:
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Is is your disdain towards Disney more about what they've done to cherished franchises like Marvel and Star Wars and stuff,
That's a big part
or
of it.
Or is it just Disney as a whole?
No, I didn't hate Disney before. I wasn't like a Disney aficionado fanatic.
He wasn't. We went because we had a daughter who.
But I did like some of the classic movies. Even the animated movies were good. More of it has turned recent in the last 5-6 years where they have ruined Star Wars. They have ruined Marvel. But hold on.
Mm-hmm.
But then they started putting their identity politics into things.
What does that mean?
Why are them short characters portrayed by big ass humans in suits? He's got a funny point there because people have complained about that about Disney as how
what do you mean?
The tiny characters that they're known for, they're small characters.
Like, give me an example.
I don't know. Even Mickey Mouse and Donald.
Yeah, like Mickey Mouse.
When you go to Disneyland, they're like 8 feet tall.
So do you want people like Tim dressed up as Mickey?
Give me the real life people.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want life-size Minnie Mouse.
Goofy is supposed to be tall.
Goofy.
My mom took me to the
Mickey and Minnie are supposed to be short.
Yeah, no, I get it, but part of me.
Wait, you churned butter? I bet that butter was fantastic, by the way. And Amish country is beautiful. It's in Pennsylvania.
That sounds sexual, and that's your cousin.
So look, Stitch, Mickey, and Donald. See, I called it out.
Oh, okay.
He's right. Abomination. You're right. I agree with you.
So he feels like they should be better represented.
I want the small characters, so I can kick them around if they get a little wild.
Let me ask you something. You have no desire to visit. Bullshit aside, you didn't enjoy the rides and the nostalgia of Disneyland.
I'm not saying that it's not unique. It does have that small town magical feel when you first get there.
Right.
Then when you're like $8,000 in, and you're exhausted.
Well, I do. Well, you will take me to Universal.
Universal's a little different.
Okay.
Universal's I want to go to the one in Florida.
The kids aren't retarded. I asked these questions as a kid.
I love Abomination AJ. You're the man. He's right though. I mean, why? Why does there got to be a 19-foot? He's right. Why is Goofy 18 feet tall?
Universal is cool.
I want to make.
We went there. We went to Disneyland. Okay, so we've been married. It'll be 18 years in March.
18 years.
We went to Disney and Universal on our honeymoon, and I think we had more fun at Universal.
Universal is more. I like it. It's a little more adult. I think the rides are better. Universal in Florida, from what I understand, is blowing up and expanding like crazy.
You're gonna get that pin on. Hey,
JT Gunn, Nate Light.
Hey, JT.
How you doing, JT? Everybody, hey, listen. Shout out to Abomination AJ, JT Gunn, and Left Eye Eagle on YouTube. Please subscribe to their channels. Guys are awesome.
You can follow me on Twitter as Mrs. CannoliSasquatch.
Yes, JT Gunn. So JT Gunn, we're doing good. We're doing great. We started off the podcast talking about like crazy killers and the most
scary and sadistic serial
that you
killers.
Maybe didn't know about. Right now, we were on the one about the What is it?
It's Vampire of Sacramento.
Vampire of Sacramento. Then our co-host Filipino Meatball chimed in from Disneyland. Now we're just making fun of Disney. So yeah, that's where we are. Definitely Abomination AJ. The rides are better at Universal. I completely agree with you.
And I have blood stains on my shirt, and he has.
Hey, by the way, wouldn't that be cool one day to have a meetup at Universal Studios with all the YouTubers?
Yes, which means I have to start on our merch.
Yeah, I mean the people on the West Abomination, you got to come west, man. I know you can go east of Florida, but Arizona's not too far from Texas. It's a 2-hour flight. Thank you. Back to the subject.
Like, subscribe, and what?
Like, subscribe, and share the channel. Like these videos, subscribe, and share.
We need 100 people so we can go on to Rumble Live. That's very important.
No, but I want 100 on YouTube too.
Oh, you're so needy.
I am needy. JT Gunn, yes. The wife actually made her shirt.
No, I made this shirt. Don't ask me where the blood came from.
Yeah, well.
And we bought his at Walmart.
Whiskey Banger's just sitting here going, why am I here?
Because we entertain him on his Friday night.
That's true. This is fun.
That is true.
We got 19 people live watching right now, which is
Stop it. This is our highest number ever. It's because I'm here. Thank you kindly.
Might be more Mrs. CannoliSasquatch visits in the future.
Probably.
Anyway.
Okay, so let's get back to
the Vampire Slayer of Vampire.
By
the way, speaking of vampires, I was watching the Blade movies 1 and 2. Not bad.
Those are gross, though.
Not bad.
They're very violent.
I like the Blade movies a lot.
I don't know.
That's something that Marvel needs to tap back into because Blade is an awesome character.
They just actually stopped production on the newest Blade movie because it was a shit show. And it was PG-13.
Oh wait, let me guess. Not to cut you off. Was it woke?
No,
Are they trying to make Blade white?
What did they go through? 3 directors, a bunch of writers, and they said, you know what? No, but it was PG-13. How do you make a Blade movie PG-13?
Yeah.
No.
Dude, I would be so pissed if some
Yeah.
goofy white dude was Blade.
It would be ridiculous.
I just got a special message texted to me. A good friend of mine, Joel, just said that it's all me tonight. Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, she's the star. I think I'm starting to realize that she's the star.
Well, Whiskey Banger and I didn't do a half bad of a job together.
No, you got 100 views, and I did a live stream Monday and didn't get half that. So I think I'm starting to see a pattern here.
I am not. You need to take a step back.
I'm not as good looking as her. And,
thanks, Boo.
She does.
He just doesn't want to die in his sleep. That's the only.
My confidence is just down on the ground. I'm buried like these dead people.
No, it just happens to be a subject that I know about.
It's a joke. Go ahead anyway.
Should we get back to the killing?
I guess so. We only have 45 minutes left.
Why? Who says that we have to stop at 9?
He's tired.
Does he look tired? He was in the army. This dude can stay up for 48, 72 hours and kick some ass afterwards.
That is very true.
Never.
Pretty accurate.
Disrespect.
Never underestimate.
Whiskey Banger.
Never underestimate your opponent.
Anyway, go back.
Okay, so here we go. Anywho, so once again, we left off with killing the cow.
The cow kicked Nelly in the belly.
So this gets really gross. Ready? I told you, giddy up, kids.
Oh.
He shredded apart the cow.
Nice.
Shredded
Fresh
to
meat.
pieces. He stripped off his clothes and ran into the woods covered in blood. Police found his vehicle and his clothes with a bucket of blood, and get this, a liver.
Yay!
On his seat.
Yummy.
That sounds exciting.
He was found hugging rocks covered in blood and arrested and arrested. Guess what else? This is so funny. What did he really do? He killed a cow and he covered himself in blood. Not a whole reason to really hold you for very long, so he was released.
Jesus.
Yep.
Ugh.
So you shredded a cow beyond belief. You put the liver on your front seat of your car, and you had a bucket of blood, but you're okay. We're just going to go ahead and let you go.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to let you off with a warning. Why don't you go ahead and sleep it
just
off?
a liver. No big deal.
So the first person he killed, he was really nuts, where he would just drive by and he'd be like, this poor older man was helping his wife bring in the groceries, and the vampire just drove by with his .22 caliber and just shot the guy right in the heart, or it must have been the lungs, because they thought at first he had like a heart attack.
Yeah.
And the poor guy just died on his driveway. So there was nothing that the Richard did anything with his body, but he just killed him and left. I mean, he was just fucked up in the head.
Jesus. Just for fun.
Here's the second victim. The second person he killed, he removed all of her organs and put dog shit in her mouth.
Fuck. There's a little dog manure for you.
Sorry, I should have warned you on that one.
Oh my God. I was not expecting that.
Well, I'm sorry. My notes indicate dog feces.
Well, dog shit sounds.
But dog shit sounds better. And then he used an empty yogurt cup from her refrigerator to drink her blood.
What kind of yogurt was it, though?
They didn't say. And they didn't really know what the yogurt cup was for at first.
The yogurt's nasty anyway, so.
So he felt like taking in somebody else, like drinking their blood, would strengthen himself. Hence,
Dracula.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mommy says, what the hell? I know, Franny. I'm telling you. Wait a minute. You're my mother-in-law, and this is going to get really nasty. The next one is really bad. So I don't know if I'll be able to look you in the eye next week when you come over for dinner. Why was there an empty yogurt cup in the fridge? No. I think he may have either eaten the yogurt or he dumped it out in the sink. I mean, that was not clarified.
An empty yogurt cup in the fridge might be a condition where you might want to strangle somebody.
No, but I don't think it was empty. I think he emptied it out because he didn't know what to drink the blood out of. Yeah.
Sounds pretty normal to me.
Ugh, this gets really bad, kids. So
All
buckle
right,
up.
listen, these are young. These are adults here.
I know.
They'll be able to handle it.
If you're not of age, you need to get off here.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
So his third victim is when he realized he was a necrophiliac when he opened up her abdomen and he violently stabbed all of her organs.
Wow.
So at the time he broke into this lady's house, okay, so this lady, if I'm remembering correctly, she was baking a cake for her boyfriend, and he always snuck in through the house. These assholes in the 70s, 80s never friggin' locked their doors. So you could just walk in through the back door. So she's making a cake. I mean, why not add some granola and make it a meal? He was a vampire, though. Vampires don't eat food.
Is there a way to stab organs that's not violent? That's a good question.
Well, you could probably... Yeah,
that's a good ASMR. We're just going to tap into your organs.
Oh, wait a minute. When Tommy Boy first started stabbing the donuts, and then he got really violent, you could do that.
But like stabbing is violent. So what do you do? Like, I'm just going to gently...
Yeah, you know what? That is a really good point. How do you not violently stab an organ? But that was the verbiage that the podcast used.
He was very aggressive stabbing the organs.
Yeah. So it was him. It was her, and I think her 22-month-old son. And two adults walked in and found her dead. So he killed them too.
So people want us to do organ stabbing ASMR now.
Well, I was going to do.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to gently stab into your pancreas. Soft like.
Mike D is trying to eat right now.
No. We're going to. Do you hear the sound? That's your brain stem.
Your daughter's staring at you like there's something really wrong with you.
That's your brain stem.
Why is he a Southern lady
when
he does ASMR?
Male Southern housewife.
Thank you.
I don't know. Southern thing just takes over me.
What? That's weird. You're a strange human.
Yeah.
He's like a creepy Paula Dean, dude. Just like, hey,
oh my God. Yes.
I'm gonna wrap you with some butter, and I'm gonna get you right in them organs.
I'm gonna call you the N-word because that's what I do.
Now,
dude, that's what Paula Dean does, man. She's racist and she loves butter and bacon.
She cooks with butter. That's why
I might need you to get me more of a drink here.
We can do murder ASMR, right?
And you fill up
why
that
not?
whole shot glass with vodka, and then
wait, hold on.
more
I got a request from Filipino Meatball to say warm maple bourbon biscuits. Hey, Chuck, I got some warm maple bourbon biscuit.
It's in the big.
You're gonna put some maple in those biscuits.
Put more ice in there for me.
More butter, please.
I don't understand why you're Southern. You're from New York.
I mean, I have family.
But you know what, though? I feel like there's something calming about a Southern woman.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a Southern woman. Apparently, Stovepipe.
You sound like one.
I do sound like one a lot. We're just gonna get back to the vampire killer.
Well, I want to apologize ahead of time, Tanner. This one might trigger you just because how old Easton is.
Oh,
I do apologize. This one really fucked me up.
Oh boy,
here it is.
But it's part of
warning.
It's part of his story and what makes him so. We are talking about the scariest and most sadistic killers, and I feel like if somebody is able to do something like this, there's some in there. I feel like they're very sadistic. Greg does have Southern roots. Yeah, you do.
Louisiana.
Eat them crawfish.
You're one of them Cajun folk?
Yeah, we got some family.
He's one of them
Louisiana.
Cajun folk. Yep.
Louisiana?
Lake Louisiana.
I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
Never
been.
I can't deal with the humidity though.
Oh, dude.
It's bad.
It's gotta be rough.
It's a swamp.
Let me see. I might need more cherry.
Humidity is bad. It's what we call bad, especially in that.
The food is good though.
The big
Food
cherry.
is
I
really
can
good.
imagine.
But yeah. Okay, I'm really sorry about this next part, but he decided to kill the 22-month-old.
Jesus.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, honey. I told you it wasn't going to be fun. And he
Hopefully Cass is not listening.
I
Yeah, I'm
know.
gonna say.
I know. I'm sorry. Believe me. As a
Turn
mom,
turn it off, Cassie.
that's
turn it
why
off.
if there was,
Hold on.
can you get me a big spoon?
Cassie, I need you to turn it off.
No, the thing is that I didn't research any of the. Sorry, I'm mixing another drink that
She's
my
getting
daughter
she's
helped me
getting
with.
sloshed
No,
talking
I'm
about
not
cereal.
sloshed.
She did give a warning.
The problem is that there are serial killers that targeted kids, and I refuse to. I won't research them. I won't. No, sorry. Being a mom, I can't do it. Anywho, plus kids are like animals. They're helpless. They're defenseless. Not to say that these victims weren't, but you were probably a piece of shit and did something in life. So anyway, so he shot the 22-month-old son to death, and he took the baby with him.
He
Oh my
shot the
God.
baby.
Like after it was dead?
Mm-hmm.
To do
Oh my
what?
God.
I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
Do I want to know?
Let me see. Where are we at here?
Let's just say he
Turned him into the what's that guy called?
headless
The headless
horseman.
horseman. Yeah.
He
Ichabod
turned the
Crane?
baby into the headless horseman.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. He turned the baby into Ichabod Crane.
No, I need my note. Oh yeah, he turned him into the headless horseman. Yeah. Sorry, my daughter needed clarification.
That school system's doing a good job.
So I am not sure how he was caught, but after he was caught, his apartment was full of body parts. And yeah, Abomination AJ, I can't take seeing kids and animals really bother me.
Yeah, Abomination AJ is he's a dog boy.
Oh my God. First of all, I don't know if
I
you
love
could
him.
see it, but this right here is a tattoo of my dog's paw print. I am I'm a vegetarian. I'm a huge animal lover. I will defend an animal over a human any day.
Kids and animals.
Kids and animals I can't handle, but this so happened to be part of it. And I didn't know that until I was deep into the research.
Wait, what is Filipino people saying? Whiskey banger? Why do you look like a
I think he's trying to say Lacoste.
Lacoste model? What are you drunk off churros in Disney? What the hell are you doing? Maybe speak English.
I appreciate the kind words.
What does that word mean?
Listen, it doesn't matter. Model is all you need to
look
worry
like a
about.
model.
Dude, Lacoste is that little it's like the little they make like polo shirts that have like the little alligator on them.
Okay. I didn't yeah. Okay.
So anyway, let's just move forward on that one. So after he was caught, his apartment was full of body parts and meat in the freezer and fridge, both animals and both humans.
Saving it for the winter.
Some anatomy. They could not understand what anatomy was.
Identify the
Thank you. Was found in his blender.
What could it have been?
Buckle up for this one, Tanner, real quick. Brain matter was found on the killer's bed, and it was the baby.
Oh
my God.
Jesus, this guy's a fucking lunatic.
He was sentenced to death by the gas. I know. I'm sorry, Whiskey.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
He got the gas.
He was sentenced to the gas chamber, but he never made it because he hid his tranquilizers that they were giving him because.
Oh, okay. Abomination AJ's right. It's the clothes with the little alligator symbol.
Oh,
okay.
So that means you're preppy.
Good call.
Yeah, apparently I went to like Brophy or something.
Yeah, you went to a private school and played tennis with Muffy.
Muffy.
So basically, he hid his tranquilizers in his jail cell that they were giving him, and he overdosed because he wanted to be in control to the very end. And I felt like this was really interesting, this part that I found on the internet when I was doing research. He was clinically insane to the point where he was feared by the staff of the asylum and called Dracula. When he was released, his mother decided to take him off the meds he needed to be stable. Cast out of the family home and sent to live alone in an apartment, still without medication and supervision he desperately needed. He believed his blood was turning to powder and that the bones of his skull were shifting around. He was found covered in blood out in the desert and released by cops when they found out it was cow's blood. He made smoothies with Coca-Cola and whole rabbits.
Nice.
No, Michelle, he didn't get the guess.
And let me tend the rabbits, Lenny.
After he was interviewed by a detective, during the interview, Chase pulled out a fistful of macaroni from his pocket and asked that it be tested.
So what is like rigatoni? Hey, what do you think, guys? And he's got cow blood all over him. Yes, JT, it's very creepy.
I want to tend the rabbits, George.
I want to tend the rabbits, George. George.
That one was really sadistically interesting. Now he did not.
I'm not gonna.
He didn't. He only killed. Sorry, not only, but he did kill.
Why didn't they use garlic?
Because they didn't know he was a vampire. Nobody knew he was running around drinking blood in Sacramento.
Right? Isn't that what kills vampires? I was just watching Blade.
Yes,
Garlic
yes, it
and
is.
silver, right?
But how are you?
And sunshine.
Garlic and what?
Oh, okay.
Silver.
Isn't silver kills vampires?
You're
Do
allergic
you
to
know?
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Bunny pop.
Thank you. Bunny pop. That's funny about me.
I wanted to say real quick, I was watching something on the Tiki Talk.
Tiki Talk. Okay.
And one of the ways you can tell you're a witch is if you're drawn to silver.
Explain being drawn to silver.
Like the silver jewelry. Like silver jewelry. If you were a woman and you wore, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if Cassie starts wearing silver, Tanner, I'm sorry.
I wear all gold, so I was more referring to your mother.
My mom is a witch. No, my mom.
She has a sixth sense.
My mom has dreams and shit comes true like weeks later. She talks to the dead. She's a freaking.
Oh, so she's more like clairvoyant. Okay, because you're throwing the witch word around.
Yes.
You're making it sound a lot worse than it is.
Wow. You got to on a scary.
Care.
You have to on a scary stream.
Okay, so this next one is going to get really, really disgusting. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to take a quick moment to run to the facilities.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll keep
just a moment, because this one, if anybody needs a potty break or needs to not be eating anything or wants to throw up their guts before I start the next one, feel free.
This is a fun topic, JT Gunn. We picked this topic. I hope we don't lose our viewers now that I'm here. She said potty break. I mean, she could have. No, I think this is the old number one, JT Gunn. What is Filipino Meatball saying? Silver sounds like something Salem witch trials would say just to chuck some hoe into a lake.
She has silver.
You're a woman. Oh, hold on. Would you? She has silver. Kill her. Throw her into the lake. Carol Ann. That's who I sound like. The chick from Poltergeist.
Yes, you do.
Carol Ann.
Carol Ann.
Don't go into the light. Great movie. Yeah, we chose this topic because, like I said, Mr. CannoliSasquatch is major into the true crime, and we didn't want to do the traditional the killers, so we chose the crazy killers we could find. Mm-hmm. And she's back, and now she can finish.
Yes, and I washed my hands for those germaphobes out there that want to know if I wash after I pee.
That was a fast poop break.
Gunn wanted to know if you were going poop break.
Oh, you wanted to know if I was going one or two because you wanted to know how much time you had.
It was a quick one. Speaking of that, I think I'm gonna go take a one.
You're gonna take a one. Well, do not pee on the floor.
No, I don't do that.
When this guy was working from home, my bathroom down here smelled like a Circle K bathroom.
Just ammonia and freaking death.
I hope you don't pee all over the floor, Whiskey Banger.
No, I don't.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. Sometimes, like late at night, like if I wake up in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m.
Sure.
I'm not even embarrassed to say this. I will sit down and take a piss. I don't even give a crap. Because I know damn well.
Apparently, Stovepipe also sits when he pees, just to call him out. So you're not the only one. I appreciate that. And I think, but let me ask you a question. Do you clean your bathrooms or does only the missus do that?
we both do it.
Okay.
There isn't like a
set schedule.
You have to do this and you have to do that. It's just kind of.
Do you know when I get my bathrooms cleaned? Mother's Day.
It's just like, hey babe, I got you a nice present. Clean bathroom.
No, for real. Not even kidding. So, I get angry. One, he does clean the bathroom better than me because I think the fact that like by the time I'm getting to bathroom number 3, I'm burnt out because this little townhouse that we own has 2.5 bathrooms. There's 3 toilets to clean. It's a lot. And by the third Oh, he's getting in our beverage fridge.
Oh, watch out. He's getting drunk.
I'm getting drunk off that bubbly lime. What is Abomination 8? Oh, I always wash those hands. Oh, no, I listen.
Look at what Greg said about Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard is a serial killer, and he's going to go after you, Mike. Yeah, he is a serial killer.
By the way, several gentlemen now said it's okay to sit and pee.
Listen, I'm not judging.
Dude, see, I was just going to say Abomination. Like, you know, people want to always say, oh, only women sit down. Dude, when it's 2 a.m. or if I'm drunk as shit, I'll just sit down, dude. I don't give a crap.
Or after certain events with the loved one, you have to sit down and pee.
There you go.
I said events. I didn't get specific.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't never.
You don't know what that means.
We know everybody knows what that means.
Yeah,
We
we
could
know what that means. Your mother is listening.
She's a woman. She's had 2 kids. She knows what's going on. What does it matter? We're all adults here.
It's still your mother.
Earmuffs, Juliana.
We're talking about mutilating body parts and bunnies being
Oh,
drank.
this one. Let me tell you, kids. This I saved the best, worst for last.
Let's do it. Let's get violent.
This is really where the discretion should be majorly advised.
We're all adults here. We can handle it.
We are going to end this podcast with the most sadistic killer I've come across. See, your mother said, hey. Your mother said, hey.
What do you want me to say? You sit down.
Why are you on Twitter?
I'm promoting Abomination AJ and Left Eye Ego stream for tomorrow. I'm retweeting
Okay,
it.
all right.
So I'm doing my diligence for my men, my boys.
And you're letting me run the show? Do the work for you?
This is great. I mean, just sit here and takes the pressure off me.
Okay. So, get to it, Mom. Shut up, Jules. Anyway, the last most sadistic killer that I came across in my week of research, I'm sure there's worse, is called the Toy Box Killer. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the Toy Box Killer. I'm a little concerned that my daughter has heard of him before and that I haven't. And I dove deep into podcasts for 2.5 years and never heard of him. Or maybe I did, and they just did a really light dusting over this, because this would have stood out so much to me. So let's see. His name was David Ray Parker. And he had what a shock, a very domineering father and grandfather. Yeah, see, Michelle knows about him. I guess maybe I just didn't. Sometimes some of the podcasts I listened to were like, they were usually ladies, and so they didn't really probably dive deep into like the really nasty.
Deep. We're gonna go deep.
He went really deep. This guy is oh my God. I hope I can say the things that I have to say.
Jesus.
So his dad was super violent and an alcoholic.
Naturally. And
of course, I believe he gave his son away to his grandparents. Thank God it was only recently. Oh, okay. I watched a documentary on him. Okay. So anyway, he at 16, I'm sorry. So he was dropped off with his grandparents, of course. And so his dad every once in a while would stop by and visit him and drop off sadomasochistic pornography magazines.
Oh my God.
And his sister, who also was shipped off to the grandparents' house, had found his disturbing stuff. Like, he had a lot of disturbing things that were major red flags that would definitely cause some concern.
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing ever happened, of course. Once again, he was misunderstood. Nobody liked him, yada, yada, yada. Hold on. I took way more in-depth notes because I had to listen to, here's the thing that I was telling you about. I listened to one podcast on him and I was just like, I thought I would be more affected by it. But then I found another podcast who was not ashamed to talk about the information. And that's when shit got real. Okay. So let me pull out this other one. So no one paid attention to him. A lot of information that I'm going to discuss with you is from firsthand accounts from him. His dad was abusive, drunk, and violent. When his parents were divorced, he was sent to live with his grandparents. he had dreams at 10 years old of raping and killing young girls and would want to use a broken beer bottle on them. Like that was his fantasy. You better stop telling me what to do from the couch over there, kid.
Oh my.
He blamed his mom for his dad not sticking around. So of course it was already ingrained in him that the women sucked and that it was all the mom's fault that the dad was not happy. Girls, of course, thought he was weird. What a shock.
Shocking.
He built bombs like at his grandparents' house when he was a teenager.
Build the bombs.
I'm going to say something and I need viewer discretion advised.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Ready?
Yes.
He fucked a hole in the ground. He dug a hole in the ground and would penetrate it.
Wait,
You heard me right.
like just a random hole in the ground.
Yes. Where he built his bombs, like in the backyard. I don't know where his grandparents lived, but it sounds like a lot of these people that were fucked up lived in trailer parks where there was a lot of, room to.
Jesus, that sounds funny.
And he kept broken beer bottles around. So I don't know if he.
Ow, that would hurt.
I was gonna say, dude, he likes it rough.
No. But he didn't use the broken beer bottles. I think that was part of his fascination. So when he would have his way with the hole, he would have the beer bottle around and imagine it was a female.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, it's going to get really bad. Really bad. So girls thought he was weird. What a shock.
Nah. Who doesn't screw a hole in
He
the
was
ground?
first married at 19 years old, which I don't think he really liked women, but for some reason somebody felt sorry for him and married him. And he
There's always
was
somebody for someone.
he was a mechanic and joined the army and fought in Korea.
Interesting.
So the first marriage, I think when he came back, just didn't work out. There wasn't a whole lot of information that I found to why they divorced. But he got married for the second time at 22 and then was divorced within 90 days. He got married for the third time by age 26.
Jesus.
And they were having some money troubles. He was a mechanic and, I think she was a stay-at-home wife. There's talk about how that they had a son together. They don't really talk about the son much, but I know they had a daughter. Her name was Glenda Jane.
If he was alive today or around today, he could have just had an OnlyFans where he screwed holes in the ground.
Yeah, no, that's true. And show his feet.
No, that would have worked.
So his third wife wanted to really do a solid for the family. So she decided to go out and become a prostitute.
Nice. That's moving. That's living large. That's moving up in the world.
And to make ends meet for her family, she was going to go and fuck them strangers for some money. And meanwhile, while wife is out earning her keep,
Doing it for the family.
he created a
Suxton?
sex dungeon. I'm not even drunk,
nice.
but he created a sex dungeon, and the prostitute, third wife,
Lots of holes in the ground in that place.
said he didn't need it, and I'll get to that. She said she never knew about it. Listen, if I had something going on in my basement, I think I would know what was going on if there was a sex dungeon. What do you think?
I mean, I'd probably guess,
Yeah. So in his sex dungeon, he made sex toys and sold them through ads in a sex magazine called Screw Magazine.
Oh, that's really appropriate name for that.
And this all happened when he stayed at home with their 5-year-old daughter, Glenda Jane.
Glenda Jane.
Glenda Jane.
That's Paula Deen right there.
So things were going well. Wife was out hooking it, making ends meet. He came home one day to find his third wife cheating, found her in bed with a paying customer, but it was her day off. So that was kind of frowned upon.
Maybe it was just overtime.
No money was exchanged. It was her day off.
Maybe she felt bad for you.
So he left her the next day with third wife's sister. So he fled with his sister-in-law.
Jeez, this guy's a fucking.
Oh, no, this is nothing. This is just funny stuff. So he moved. Get this. This is so funny because we all could have been fucked at the time. He moved to Phoenix in 1983 and worked as a mechanic.
God damn it.
He lived here for like
Fucking
a good 10 years.
He could be my dad. Holy shit.
That's right.
I was born in 83.
Wait, could be your dad?
Well, he said
Yeah, I was born in 83.
Was your dad a mechanic?
No.
Okay, good.
But how does he know he was his dad?
That's
dad
what I'm
wasn't-
saying, you know. How do I know my mom wasn't, you know?
I mean,
Listen, conversation for Thanksgiving.
yeah,
just
something just
button
I'm
that
gonna
up.
bring it up.
Do you know any mechanics from
Do
1993?
you know anybody by the name of David?
That's actually my
wait a
dad's
minute.
name.
That's your dad's name. I was just gonna say that.
Hold on. This is, hold on.
Whoops.
We gotta have a
Oh,
little talk,
shit.
me and you, buddy.
Mommy got some explaining to do.
I'm gonna see you Sunday. We're gonna have a little chat, me and you.
Oh, your mom's gonna be there. Can we corner her? Listen, lady.
Listen,
We
lady,
know what you've been up
I
to.
heard about we're gonna do some.
I know you've been slipping around with serial killers.
No, let me tell you something. He was disgusting, and you are.
Nah.
Wait, I was gonna give him a compliment.
Oh.
There's no way that Tanner could have come from that.
What? Because he's so handsome.
Yes, he's a nice-looking boy. Well, you
I'm
you
not a-
think so? You won't make a move without Daddy's approval. I think you have a
Well,
little
you know.
crush on him.
I mean, yeah, it's a bro crush.
Okay.
The bromance is
Bromance.
strong.
So
It's
here's
very
another fun fact. So once he moved to Phoenix with sister-in-law, he started hiring hookers to relieve his temptations.
That's awesome. That's
Why
awesome.
when there's why would you do that? Why would you spend money on that when there's so much ground that's free?
Thank you.
Dirt and gravel is free.
Well,
Especially
wait,
back in
no.
1983
The
in
reason
Phoenix.
being is because he had certain fetishes that he wanted to do that you could only pay
Mm.
for.
Broken bottles.
Banging a hole in the ground is not enough.
Oh, no. You're going to see what he's into.
Exactly.
I'm just building. Listen, I am building up the suspense.
Exactly, JT Gunn. That's what I'm thinking. Wow is the key word there.
No, you think this is wow? You better
How much
buckle
more-
up. No. This is just the beginning. I am leading you in slowly.
That's what he did in the hole.
God, your mother is listening.
Paul, are you asking me a question, JT Gunn?
Our dirt here is hard. No, he had relations with the dirt in
No, but JT Gunn was
no.
asking.
Our dirt here is hard, so he would not be able to. He's right. So that's why he had to hire prostitutes.
Okay.
He's right. Your mother can't get anything dug in the backyard.
Mustache rides, JT Gunn. That's good.
His fourth wife, Joni, which was the sister-in-law, couldn't give him what he needed. Shocking. She didn't like to be choked or prodded, or we're going to get into exactly what he's talking about. But so he used hookers in Phoenix, which for anybody listening who's not local,
JT Gunn's local.
I know he is. We live in Phoenix, Arizona. So
Okay, great. Now they're gonna find
Van
him.
Buren.
Van Buren, baby. Exactly. To think that this piece of shit was cruising down Van Buren back in the
rolling around in my sixth
80s.
fall.
Yeah, because he was here in the 80s. So I was 3 years old, but I wasn't living here. I just gave away my age.
What's that have to do with the story?
It doesn't.
Are we talking about cannoli? JT Gunn saying.
What do you mean?
He's asking, are we talking about cannoli?
I'm not.
She's a little slow and a little drunk, JT.
I'm not slow.
You might want to explain yourself.
That empty stomach is starting
Empty
to catch
stomach and vodka and 7-Up.
Well, and I'm still doing the friggin' keto diet, and there's nothing to eat in the pantry, even though I went to grocery shopping.
They had to drill the dirt to plant the tree. in my
Yes,
house.
your mother
Yeah.
has very hard dirt up there where she lives. She lives in North Phoenix.
up. And that's what this guy, I mean, that's what this dude was doing. He was just drilling freaking dirt.
Literally.
So his fourth wife, Joni, was not into it. She didn't like to be choked. She didn't like to be brutalized, all that stuff. So he used Phoenix hookers for a decade to satisfy his sadistic urges. And you'll understand what I'm talking about later when I explain to you in graphic detail. This is why I had to drink a little bit just so I could talk about this stuff because it's really disturbing. So he decided that he had a bit of a problem. So, JT came in mid combo.
Jeepers Crisco. He said.
Who said that?
JT good.
Oh, yes. So, he decided he had a bit of a problem.
What's this guy's name?
Who, baby?
What are you talking
His
about?
name is David Ray Parker, and he is the toy box killer. And I think he's one of the most sadistic serial killers out there. And I've done a lot of research.
Go ahead.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, he thought he had a problem and he should try to suppress his urges. So he did try to start taking pills to suppress whatever he thought he had going on. So he decides that Phoenix is no longer for him. And
see? JT knows he lived in his hometown.
yeah, we all live in the same hometown. We live in Phoenix.
I know.
Now who's confused?
Listen, it's been a long week. Go ahead.
So he decides that he's had enough of Phoenix. So he moves to Elephant Butte, New Mexico, and becomes a park ranger.
Oh, that sounds just about right.
And guess what? He meets good old Cindy Hindi.
Cindy Hindi?
You heard me.
Julia Gulia?
Hindi.
Dude, Cindy?
Not Julia Gulia.
Hold on, what's your name? Cindy. What's your last name? Hindi.
Yeah, her parents obviously hated her.
Her parents were brother and sister. That's what's happening.
Listen, it would not surprise me because this broad was effed up too.
Holy shit.
Well, and their love story was so sweet. Are you ready?
They plug holes together?
No. He met her while she was doing community service at the park for assaulting her boyfriend. And you know how their conversation started? She goes, "Hi, I'm Cindy Hindi, and I hate women, and I don't really like no man."
You know what he said? But do you like holes in the ground?
No, he said, "Bitch, you are my cup of tea. Let's go." And he fell immediately in love with her.
At Buttesville? Was it?
Elephant Butte.
Elephant. So Cindy Hindi at Elephant Butte, New Mexico. Sounds like a place we should visit.
Also, the funny story was,
Exactly, Michelle.
I know, isn't that the sweetest little story you've ever heard? She's like, "Hey, I'm here for."
See, I'm told you. So if I have to be a guest on his show, I got to bring you.
Oh boy.
This is it.
This is all because you went out of town.
I went to Texas, and there goes my dream.
Well, maybe this is our niche.
Maybe. We might be able to make that work, JT. Gunn.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm down for anything, whatever you need.
You hit me up and let me know when's a good time for you, sir.
I hope everybody is not eating because this is going to get really disturbing.
You said that already.
I know, but I want to keep reminding people because this is taking a while.
Yep.
Okay, so the funny story is that in New Mexico, at one point there was a game show that went to New Mexico, and I don't know how this came about, but something with the game show ended up turning this little city that they lived in into a place called Truth and Consequences. So somewhere within Elephant Butte, this little town was now called Truth and Consequences, and that is now where David Ray Parker lived, in a town called Truth and Consequences.
With Cindy Hindi.
Correct.
Is this that sounds like a Dr. Zeus horror story?
Yep. It was named after a game show. So, excuse me, David Ray Parker lived next to the second largest desert in the country. Second largest desert.
A lot of holes in that desert.
And next to the largest made man lake. It was like, I want to say it was like 28 miles long.
That's a big
And
lake.
it was like super, super, super deep. And this will come into play
That's
later.
a lot of water.
That's why, spoiler alert, bodies were never found.
Because he put them in the lake.
Dude, he just, I don't know what he did, but they were. There was one point that I heard, and I did not take notes, but it's up here. There was one point where, as a park ranger, he hired a concrete company to come and fill in these big, huge tires full of concrete. And he would not let the guy get out of the truck that was pouring the concrete. And the guy asked what it was for, and he goes, "Oh, these are just used to anchor something with the park and anchor something in the lake. And the guy goes, okay, no problem. But I'm pretty sure we were drowning bodies. Oh God, this is exhausting. Anywho.
Showed this subject.
No, you told me I was doing this subject.
Yeah, that is very true. I did order her around. I bossed her around a little bit.
Okay, so here's where things really take a turn.
Oh, good. So no more ground pounding. We're going in for it now.
Hold on, I got to get my notes. So him and Cindy started, because Cindy seemed to be a little bit of a, she liked to, what am I trying to say?
Cindy Lou Who? What?
She liked girls as well.
Oh.
I mean, I think she liked everything.
She swung both ways.
So she would help abduct women. I have one specific case that I can give you some information on. The last victim, Cynthia, was found running naked with a metal collar and chain around her neck covered in blood. Now, you have to remember, so he lived out in Truth and Consequences, New Mexico, which is in the middle of nowhere. It was a very small town, and it was really spread out, and it was, of course, filled with trailer park. So she ran to another mobile home for help. And her story is that, of course, Cynthia was a sex worker. That's how, he got a lot. And another thing he did, like, I want to say Ted Bundy. I don't know if I remember correctly, but he would use the fake badge and say, like, you're under arrest for being a sex worker. You have to come with me. But she was introduced to David Ray Parker by a pimp. And she met him and Cindy in his RV. And he showed her a police badge and told her she was being arrested for being a sex worker. She was handcuffed to the RV and stripped naked and threatened to be shocked if she fought back.
Jesus.
Like they had just keep this in mind. He was a mechanic. He was a tinkerer. Okay. So just keep this in mind.
Like the tinker. All right.
Okay. So basically what he would do is he would handcuff you. He would take you back to his house. He had floor to ceiling graphic things on the walls. He had a mattress in the corner with chains that would put you in the spread eagle position at all times.
It's a good position.
Nice.
Very effective.
And so let's get into this. So he would first abduct you, and he would take you in his RV, and he would take you to his home. This is where shit gets really sick and twisted. So the first thing he would do is hold on, my notes had this in there. He would take you and he would strap you naked. He would strap you naked to a metal chair. And he would play a videotape for you. And a lot of people that I listened to in the podcast would reference this as the like jigsaw, where it would be like, you're going to play a game. I printed out his audio tape transcript, and it is 26 pages.
Jesus.
It's a 26-page transcript of what he would read to, or what he was on tape. So I'm going to read just a little bit of it because it's 26 pages and it would take me forever to get through. And I did hear some of it. The person's podcast I listened to did highlight it. So you would sit down, like I said, strapped naked to a metal chair, and you would see a VHS, because this was back in the 80s and 90s. And he would say, he first recorded it on 1993. And I believe his last victim, Cynthia, was 1997. It would start off as follows. Hey there, bitch. Are you comfortable right now? I doubt it. Wrist and ankles chained, gagged, probably blindfolded. You were disoriented and scared too, I would imagine. Perfectly normal under the circumstances. For a little while at least, you will need to get your shit together and listen to this tape. It is very, very relevant to your situation. I'm going to tell you in detail why you've been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you, and how long you've been here. I don't know the details of your capture because this tape is being created July 23rd, 1993 as a general advisory tape for future female captives. The information I'm going to give you is based on my experience dealing with captives over a period of several years. If at a future date there are any major changes in our procedures, the tape will be upgraded. Oh, goody. So you're sitting there listening to a tape going, gee, I wonder if this was updated or changed at all. I mean, this guy's a fucking lunatic.
Jesus.
Okay, hold on. Now, you're obviously here against your will, totally helpless, don't know where you're at, don't know what's going to happen to you. You're very scared or pissed off. I'm sure you've already tried to get your wrists and ankles loose. You know you can't. Now you're just waiting to see what's going to happen next. You probably think you're going to be raped, and you're fucking sure right about that. Our primary interest is in what you've been... Our primary interest is what you've got between your legs. You'll be raped thoroughly and repeatedly in every hole you've got.
What the fuck? Jesus. God. Whiskey Banger just lost his dinner.
Because basically you've been snatched and brought here for us to train and use as a sex slave. Sound kind of far out? Well, I suppose it's to the uninitiate. What is that? Oh, but we'll do it all the time. It's going to take a lot of adjustment on your part, and you're not going to like it a fucking bit, but I don't give a rat's ass about that. It's not like you're going to have oh, no. You're going to be kept naked and chained up like an animal to be used and abused anytime we want to. So basically it goes on and on and on and on and on for 26 pages. And it just talks about in great detail how she is going to be handled. This is where his toy box comes in. So that was the home. He had a whole separate toy box that was, he put $100,000 worth of items in there that he made himself. I'm going to give you just a little idea. He had a man-made gynecological table, and I'm sure you know what that looks like. You've been to visits with Cassie for her pregnancy. The stirrups and everything, that's a gynecological, yep. Mm-hmm.
I like that. How'd that go again?
He has whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreader bars, surgical blades, saws, sexual toys.
Blades?
There was one thing, there was one thing where...
At least he's thorough.
I'm going to just say he had a 15-inch...
toy?
Mm-hmm, that was hooked up to a power motor.
Oh, my God.
And it had 3 different settings. He had clamps and electrical things that would annihilate your...
goods?
Yep.
Cool.
And he actually had instructions if anybody else wanted to use them.
Does this sound like something you want to get involved with, Whiskey Banger, and clamps and toys and 15-inch toys?
But listen, the list is, if you ever are really like wanting to know, there is a list out there of all of the things he had, and I just can't. The transcript is awful. I'm going to bring up something, trigger warning. It has to do with animal sex.
Oh,
this really bothered me.
At least he didn't discriminate.
He had a German Shepherd.
Oh.
And he would...
Whiskey Banger's like, no.
This is all for you. This is all for the podcast. Believe me. You know me. I'm not... He would put his victims on all 4. And he would make sure that they were present and ready for the animal, and he would put a certain something on the women's area to entice the animal.
Oh God.
And I'm not going to go into detail. If you're curious about it, you can research it, but there was very descriptive details as to what happened once the animal was doing its business.
Timmy, whiskey Filipino Meatball has a little note for Whiskey Banger. Is that true, Whiskey Banger? Are you his personal chicken?
I mean,
do you lick the peanut butter off?
No.
Okay.
He would actually ask the women in great detail to describe.
I think Whiskey Banger's sick to his stomach.
I know. I listen. I told you it was Scariest.
Aren't you so excited you joined us on this Friday?
Here's the thing. When this topic was first brought up, in my mind, I'm picturing like, oh, guys who killed a bunch of people, you know, some mutilation, blood and guts. Okay.
You didn't expect the detail, huh?
Yeah, like maybe a little cannibalism, you know, no big deal, chewing on some freaking.
Yeah,
well, I gave you the Vampire of Sacramento. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, this is, I mean, you weren't lying when you said this went from like, you know, the bad to the absolute fucking worst.
Worst thing you can imagine, yeah.
Because I was not picturing this at all to go anywhere near killing babies, you know, molesting freaking.
Humping the holes in the ground.
Yeah, gravel pits.
Gravel pits.
And I'm not done yet. I have a little bit more on the toy box killer.
Keep going.
I'm sorry.
Oh no,
I know.
it's good.
I figured
it was very unexpected.
I had to be different than I had to separate us from everybody else who's doing the regular stuff. A couple of things that were really now Cynthia, the last victim who actually got away, was able to give a lot of this information. So there was a clipboard in the sex. Worst thing I can imagine is not cuddling with Cannoli.
Oh, well, Meatball, me and you were always going to...
He lets me call him Fur Missile.
Jesus.
What the hell is there something you need to tell me?
He meant to say that for Whiskey Banger.
Is he talking about me or you?
I don't know.
He calls you Fur Missile, and then...
He did call me the German Shepherd.
And he wants a cuddle with me. He wants my cannoli cream.
So... there's a clipboard of victims from 1993 to 1997. 18 women listed, and beside each name was a number of notches that indicated how many times they were assaulted, and some had 50 notches.
Jesus.
Listen, think about the absolute worst thing you could ever do. I can't even tell you. There were probably over 1,000 different items, and I know about them, but I'm not going to talk about them because they are so... I didn't even think I was going to talk about the 15-inch power motor situation, because that was just... But it got to the point where he had no respect for a human life at all.
Obviously. He
also did wear a Satan-like robe. There was talk that he was part of a satanic cult, and that his friend at the time that was with him in this cult, David Ray Parker, got his friend to kill his girlfriend right in front of him.
Oh, cool.
That was part of it too. And said, if you didn't kill her, I'm going to kill you.
Sharing is caring.
I will. Jesus, is Tim drunk?
No, well, he's.
Do you see what he just said?
He's eating churros and.
He's around a bunch of children, and that's what he's thinking.
Listen, I don't claim.
I told you he was.
Somebody's got to call somebody.
Thank you.
He's what? So I didn't get into the part where his daughter Jessie Ray.
These fucking names.
Well, that was Glenda Ray, but she liked to go by Jessie Ray. Okay. His daughter Jessie Ray was Truth and Consequence's main drug dealer, and she liked to help her father kidnap victims. So after one night after she went out with some friends, she took one of her friends back to her dad's house. She said, "Oh, I need to stop by my dad's house before I can take you home, because I need to whatever." And so he actually kidnapped. So the friend brings the friend, or the daughter brings the friend home, sits her down in a chair. She doesn't know who did what, but she was blindfolded and handcuffed, and she was held captive and tortured for 3 days. David Ray Parker's MO is he would, whatever he did, he had a concoction of drugs and he would drug them and they would not remember what happened. This piece of shit actually took this broad back to her home and said, oh, I found so-and-so wandering on the beach by the park. And she was beat to shit and her husband divorced her after 3 days. But after the 3 days she was gone because he thought she was out fucking somebody else.
That's interesting.
Oh, it gets better. Guess what?
Keep drinking that whiskey, buddy.
So there are claims that David Ray Parker got his daughter Jessie Ray pregnant and that they had a kid together.
Of course, you got to bring
And
the
Jessie
incest
Ray
in
back in 1984 tried to tell the FBI that her father was abducting girls and selling them to Mexico, but they didn't believe her because there wasn't enough evidence.
Oh, good.
this.
So
Little human
at the end of the
trafficking.
day, and there are pictures online that I have not looked at, but there are pictures online of this sex or of this toy box situation. There was just pictures, toys, just from floor to ceiling everywhere. When they go over what they found, it's just, I can't even. Just to let you know, one of the investigators, 5 days after she started investigating the case, walked outside of the investigative office where she worked and blew her brains out.
Wow.
She couldn't handle it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's such a happy story.
He is suspected to have more than 60 victims, mostly younger women and some teens. He loved to give pain. He loved to inflict pain. Loved to inflict pain. So at the end of the day, David got 224 years, but was never actually charged with murder because no bodies were ever found. Cindy got 36 years because she testified against him. That was his little assailant who liked to toy with the girls too. There was a part of that big, long video that did discuss that Cindy would like to be receiving certain things from whatever victims, if you catch my drift.
Come on.
So Cindy was asked to be involved.
That face says it all, Whiskey Ray.
And I believe the daughter did get some time, and I want to say this year or next year is up for parole.
That's good. So
Well,
she'll be free.
here's the thing with David, though. David actually did call investigators or whomever after he was convicted, and he did agree to talk. But the son of a bitch had a heart attack and died in prison.
Did he have holes in the ground in prison, though?
He wasn't in prison very long before he died. I want to say he didn't do very long. Kind of like Dahmer. He didn't do a whole lot of time. So anyway, that concludes our lovely episode.
Good Lord.
So what I take out of this is that I need to sleep with two eyes open.
Yeah.
And
Why would I love you, though? I don't have
Listen,
hatred like that. Listen,
nah.
I had a really shitty upbringing and my parents suck and I really should be like a drugged out prostitute. But I've decided to take another path.
You're my prostitute.
Your mother is still listening. Jeez.
Well, I'm
Oh
glad
my
all you
God.
kids joined us. By the way, I want to thank everybody who listened on the show.
We had our most
Views
viewer
at
this
one time
episode.
ever. And I'm starting to think it's Mrs. CannoliSasquatch and not CannoliSasquatch.
It's got to be.
It's gotta be.
I think it's the topic. I really do. This topic is crazy. People are really weirdly interested in it. And some people are really embarrassed to admit that they like true crime because it doesn't make you look very good.
Well, true. But we turned it. It would have been a technical disaster earlier with a computer dying on me.
Yeah, because I drove
So just
down the
imagine,
101 twice.
we almost didn't have the show, and you could have avoided the toy box killer stories and all this.
See, your mom. I told you, Fran. We thought Son of Sam was scary. We thought Richard Ramirez was scary.
Jeffrey Dahmer was scary. which
Well,
he
and
was.
I
was,
thought,
but-
let me tell you, BTK was nobody to F around with. He was scary too. But the toy box killer, I feel like what he did, and if you do a deep dive into everything that he did and all the things that he had, the toys, that's what makes it so sadistic. And the fact that he thought that he was a Satan worshiper. But I didn't even skim the top of it.
No, we skimmed. We went deep and we went underneath, and we went all the way in. So Whiskey Banger's scarred for life. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'll give you a big hug when I see you and maybe bring you a cookie.
Well, cookies always solve everything.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
never.
told you it wasn't going to be an easy one.
No.
Is this what you wanted?
Well, I did want
Yes.
something unique, and that was definitely unique. So
Because if I
Mm.
came on here and I was like, "Oh, have you guys heard about Jeffrey Dahmer?"
it was definitely different, which is
You guys
what I
heard
did
about Jack the Ripper?
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that guy.
Have you heard about Ted Bundy? It's this real guy who's had a problem. I mean, I wanted to make your podcast different for you.
Sure did. You got the most views we got.
Well, cheers, bitches.
Well,
What's next week?
I don't know yet, and I'm kind of scared. Oh no, we do have to do a podcast.
You have 2 more weeks for
2 more
Halloween, so you
weeks.
really have to plan it out.
I think what we're gonna do to either next week or following to finish off the month, Whiskey Banger and I are gonna go much lighter. On the maybe we're gonna rate horror movies, best, worst, most overrated, most overtalked. We're gonna do a fun show. So let's do.
We need a little bit of
levity.
Fun.
Some levity and fun next week. So I think
Some
we
balance.
might.
Your mom said I did a good job.
You did a great job.
Thanks, Franny.
You did a
You're
great
awesome.
job.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
A lot of research. That's why I picked her to do some research on
With
this.
all the shit going on in my life this week, I still came through.
So might do that next week. Look for that Monday. Depending on the situation with the computer, I may or may not be on doing a live stream Monday myself. I don't know what that topic's going. How do you follow this up?
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks for chiming in. Or what?
Yeah.
Chiming in? Yeah.
Thanks
all
for
right.
checking us.
Yeah,
So again,
thanks for checking
everybody
us out.
who's watching,
You
this,
should go back 2 weeks ago when I did a solo podcast with Whiskey Banger on paranormal activity.
That was a good episode too.
Mhm.
Last week we did the afterlife, which was interesting. We're sticking with this paranormal.
Oh wait,
thing.
we didn't introduce what number this was.
This is number 15.
Wow, 15 weeks.
I'm gonna go cry now, and then every time I see a hole in the ground, I'll never think the same ever again. I really do appreciate everybody coming by.
Please like, subscribe,
yes.
and share.
Like real shout outs to JT Gunn, Abomination AJ, Greg Double G, Diana, Mike D,
Michelle
Morrow. Thanks for everybody.
Thank you, Frank and Fran.
Of course, my parents.
Oh, Stovepipe, Frankie.
Stovepipe. All the people who stopped by, the usuals. I really do appreciate this. I will be maybe back Monday. I don't know. Next week.
If he is, it might be really janky on this iPad.
We'll figure that out. Next week we will be back alive. And
I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m.
That's pretty much
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Whiskey Banger. Appreciate you. Love you. And thanks for all the subscribers. And we will talk to you again next Friday.